And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions, serving our community as your consumer advocate. We're going to help you win in 80-plus categories of consumer advocate content and advice. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. My wife and I own and operate a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and we are still working with sellers, still working with buyers. Yes, the real estate market is deemed essential, and things are still happening here in Tampa Bay. So we would love to help you and your family, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we are offering cash offers as well through Keller Offers. Being part of the Keller Williams network is awesome. So we have a segment here brought to you by Golf Cart Depot. Big shout out to Golf Cart Depot. Say hello to Marty and his team and let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you. They are open. They're actually delivering carts so you can test drive them on your location, on your home court. Talk to Golf Cart Depot. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. They've got Easy Go, Star RV, Cushman's, pre-owned, new and used golf carts available as well, and they are still open and in business. Check them out in Land Lakes, also Clearwater, with 2 locations conveniently here in Tampa Bay. Say hello to Marty and the team over at Golf Cart Depot. Let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you and take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, I got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here in Tampa Bay. A new hot listing over in Bel Air. This one's over in Pinellas County, 422 Wildwood Way in Bel Air. This is a gorgeous home, beautiful property, just recently renovated. The owner spent over $100,000 in recent upgrades and renovations and landscaping. And it's a fenced-in backyard, beautiful 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath property at 422 Wildwood Way in Bel Air. Also, 260 Lyndhurst Street in Dunedin. It's a great opportunity to own a beautiful property in Dunedin, just right across the street from the Fenway Hotel, and it's the Intercoastal Waterways of Dunedin, Florida at 260 Lyndhurst Street in Dunedin. Great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com, platinummvpteam.com. All right, we're going to invite Brittany Rudolph here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, representing Children's Cancer Center. Welcome to the show, Brittany.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And what's your position? You're the Director of Marketing?
Yes, I'm the Director of Marketing and Events, and I've been with the Children's Cancer Center for about 4 years now.
Excellent. Very cool. So now with the COVID-19, how's this affecting your business?
Yes, of course, it's affecting everyone, and we're all navigating our new normals. And so we just are really looking at how we can service our families that have a child battling pediatric cancer in new ways, whether that's through virtually, whether that's sending them gift cards that can help with their financial security. We're really just starting that from the ground up. Is our programs. We have over 24 programs that service our families in the Tampa Bay area with a child battling pediatric cancer. And so we're just really reworking all of those programs so that way we can still service our families through this time.
Wow, yeah. So 24 programs, you said?
Yes, that is.
Wow, 24 programs and lots of the cool events. So have you had to cancel any of your events that you've had planned?
So we are postponing. Of course, we want to be conscious of the economic state right now, and we don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So we did have Golf Madness, which is at Topgolf, and it's the perfect combination of a Topgolf competition with the March Madness Sweet 16 games, and of course, with that being the March Madness being canceled, that threw a wrench in our plans, but we were still going to go on as planned. But then with everything that happened, we decided to postpone. So we are looking at late May or June to hopefully get everyone out at Topgolf to support the Children's Cancer Center.
And that's a fun place to go anyways, Topgolf, right?
Yes, we have a feeling that once this is all passed us by, that people are really going to want to get out and getting a little stir crazy, as I am as well, and they are going to want to support the Children's Cancer Center too and have a fun happy hour with their friends.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you just joined us, we're talking with Brittany Rudolph here. She is the Director of Marketing and Events over at Children's Cancer Center right here in Tampa Bay. One of the local charities that are really doing the most good. I mean, they really think about it from a time of, when the children get diagnosed with cancer and they, the whole family's involved now. So now you got the family missing work, challenges with transportation, all types of different things that come up. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, how are you guys hands-on with the children and their families?
Definitely. Well, the thing I love everything about the Children's Cancer Center, is that we have a program for every member of the family. So no one goes by the wayside. We really are very conscious of taking care of everyone, because when a child is diagnosed, the whole family is. So just for example, we have a moms group just for our moms to connect with other moms that know what they're going through. We have a big buddy program that connects our siblings that have a child that's or a sibling that's diagnosed with a first-year med student at USF. That way, they're getting that individual attention. I mean, when parents have a child that's diagnosed, they're constantly running them to doctor's appointments and worried about it, how they're feeling, and the sibling gets just naturally by the wayside. So this really allows them to have specific attention and things like that. So we also do parents' night out, and this is for our couples of our parents, so that way they can enjoy a date night. I mean, when your child is diagnosed with cancer, the last thing you want to think about is going on a date. And the feedback that we get is when we do these nights, they're like, "Wow, my family my spouse and I haven't been on a date in 4 years since my child is diagnosed," and the divorce rates are even higher amongst families who have a child with cancer. So we really are supporting them throughout the entire journey, whichever fork in the road it may go, and whatever that looks like. So that's why we like to support each family member.
Yeah, that's such an important part with the divorce rate increasing, and the challenges that complicate with a child that is stricken with cancer. So we're talking with Brittany Rudolph here. Now, how would you like our listeners? We've got great listenership, lots of people tuning in, and how would you like them to engage? What would you ask? Because I know not only monetary but also other types of donations and volunteering of time.
Definitely. Well, specifically with this time of the economic state of COVID-19, we are looking for ways that we can support the community while also supporting our families that have a child battling cancer. As you know, there's so many people that are at risk, whether it's with asthma, whether they just had surgery. Well, our children on treatment are always at risk. So they live their lives like this all the time. So our families are having to take extra precaution. I mean, they're really quarantining in the sense of not leaving their houses. So we came up with the solution of our Fueling Families campaign. And we have so many great restaurant partners in the area that have supported us throughout the years, and they always provide food to our families. So we really want to give back to the community, and we are encouraging your listeners and everyone else in the community to buy virtual gift cards to your favorite restaurant. So that way you can support whichever restaurant you love going to, and then gifting it to a family with a child battling cancer at the Children's Cancer Center.
Okay, awesome. Now, how do they do that? What specifically would they do? How would they do that?
So what they would do is they would go on the website of their favorite restaurant. So I'll just use an example because I frequent there often, is Louis Pappas. I would go onto their website, and almost every restaurant has this ability where you can go onto the website and say, I want to buy whichever monetary amount you want, a $25 gift card, and then you would type in the email that it would go to, and it would go to our Programs and Family Services Coordinator, Ashley Myers. And then you would send it to her email, and we would distribute it to one of our family.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. So A. Meyer at childrenscancercenter.org. And that's
A. Myers with an S.
M-Y-E-R.
S.
Okay, with an S on the end. Okay, got it. A. Myers at childrenscancercenter.org. And if you have any questions with that, folks, reach out to me. And I'll put you right in touch with the team over there at Children's Cancer Center. We've been working with them a long time. Matter of fact, gosh, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago now, I was the MC for the Wine, Women, and Shoes event, a really cool, fun event. If you haven't seen their Gelatin Plunge event, that's an awesome event as well. That takes place during the summer when it's a little warmer out. You get to slide down into the jello. You can't say jello. It's a gelatin plunge, right?
Yes, it is.
Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. So we got about a minute left here, Brittany. Any final words?
I just think we're all, struggling through this time and trying to figure out our new normal. But we always have to think about those that are struggling a bit more, and these families that have a child that's diagnosed with cancer are still having to navigate doing doctor's visits and chemo throughout this. So anyone that would really like to support and looking for an organization that they can make a direct impact and their dollars go into immediate effect for these families. I mean, you're putting gas in the car and food on the table. So I would just appreciate your consideration, because this is definitely a group of people that are in need during this uncertain time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, excellent stuff. Brittany, thanks so much. Brittany Rudolph, Children's Cancer Center. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Ashley as well, and Patty and the whole team for us over.
I will. Thank you for having us. And
keep up the good work.
Everybody.
You guys are doing great. All right, stay with us. When we come back, attorney Frank Charles Miranda here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because Weaving TV is working over in Tampa with the Angelina Star.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember. Ask me about
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards.
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections for
Backles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back to life. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we would love to talk to you. And we do have cash offers available. Anybody looking to sell their property quickly, I can get you a quick offer through Keller Offers, instant offers through Keller Williams organization. Or I also have local area buyers as well that are cash buyers. So we can close quickly. We are recruiting agents as well, looking to grow our team. So if you have any agents in your network that are looking for opportunities right now, would be a great time to make the move over to Keller Williams Realty. This segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Reach out to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions, and they're going to hook you up with a Myers cocktail or one of their blends of a direct injection directly into your bloodstream. And for those that are looking to increase their immunity right now, their immune systems, vitamin infusion drips are a way to do that. Reach out to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan, Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you so you can take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, I got some vacant land available here in Tampa Bay, 0 alternate 19. AKA 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. A vacant lot available for building, commercial opportunity right here. You got the walkability of downtown Palm Harbor, and you also have a great opportunity to build a commercial lot. The owners, including $40,000 worth of the plans, the engineering and plans are available. Check out Alt 19 Palm Harbor on our website at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, let's go to the phones here. We got attorney Frank Miranda tuning in to the show, joining us here. Welcome to the show, Frank.
Brandon, thanks for having me again, and always a pleasure being on your show.
Yeah, hey, my pleasure. It's always great having you or Stephanie on the show, or Lauren Frieder, the other attorney at the office, has been on the show several times. And so what are you seeing out there? How's this whole COVID-19 shaking out for your businesses?
This is such a unique situation. We've never experienced anything as an economy, as a nation, as a world, this kind of situation, at least not in the modern times. And we talk about going back to the 1800s. We had some issues with some other diseases that were similar. But the difference now is, one, there's a hell of a lot more people out there in the world. And two, we're no longer an agricultural economy. And all that being said, this is such a mixed bag of messages. You have the stock market up today, which is kind of contradictory to businesses shutting down. So, there's an indication that there's clearly a lot of cash out there, and there's, for my personal business, there's still people doing deals and transacting real estate closings, and there's still people litigating. So, to some regard, it's so much different because, 90% of my staff is working remotely. But by the same token, there's still things happening. It may not be happening at the same amount of time with the same frequency, but there's people out there with cash on the sidelines looking at what's going on, at least on the transactional side. We're talking about real estate. I think there's also a secondary market out there looking for the possibility that if this thing drags out longer, if the pandemic drags out longer, they're hoping for a reset on price, and they're ready to jump in.
Absolutely, I agree with you. There's so much opportunity. Anytime you have this difficulty that you have, there is going to be certain types of opportunities available, and people are still buying, sellers are still selling, investors are still investing. So it is a great time if you have the foresight to see, through this temporary setback that we have. So yeah, we are in a season of winter here, just a short one though. I think it's going to be very quickly, past us here. So what else are you seeing out there, Frank? You got. One of the things that we talk about too when we have Stephanie on the show is some of the fraud that we're seeing out there. More and more the scam artists coming out. Are you seeing anything like that on your end?
I know that we've gotten a couple suspicious emails buyers and regarding some transactions that we've passed on and not opened because they're clearly scam artists. So Unfortunately, in times like this, the scam artist sees this also as a huge opportunity for them to try and steal wires that are coming in from either a bank or that are monies that are going to be due to a seller or refinance. Now, fortunately, the emails we have gotten are not specifically tied to any specific deal. They haven't been able to breach our security measures here, knock on wood. We do take a lot of pride in hiring third-party vendors to make sure that no one can actually tap into our systems. So they're just general kind of concepts about, deals and will you give me let me represent you and I'll send you a retainer. And typically what they do is they ask for the retainer back and they never really truly send a retainer. That's the gimmick I see a lot when it comes to the litigation side in the law firm.
Right. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Frank Miranda, attorney Frank Miranda. Frank Charles Miranda Law is the company. And yesterday's show, we had Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister on the show, and he was talking about some of the steps they're taking to help law enforcement with this time. And he also mentioned that the courts were somewhat slowed and like pushing cases out. Are you seeing that on your end as well, Frank, with your litigation side?
Well, first and foremost, such a testament to you to have a Sheriff Chronister appear on your show. He's been a great sheriff and he's a great endorser of the city and the county. Yes, I mean he's right on point. So what happens is the court system is severely paralyzed, I should say. And are there hearings going on? The only hearings that are going on are telephonic. But both parties have to agree to that telephonic hearing. If one does not, then the hearing gets postponed to an uncertain time. I can tell you all the trials that are scheduled for April and May have been continued until an unknown time. What's happening and what's going to take precedent is when you're able to have people go back in droves into the courthouse and you can have a jury again. The people that are going to have and the cases that are going to have precedent are all the criminal cases. So if anybody wanted a jury trial in a criminal matter, that's going to take precedence. So all the cases that are assigned to civil, those judges are going to have to hear criminal trials to catch up on the backlog criminally, and then they can start talking about the civil side. So I can tell you the Supreme Court of Florida and our local administrative judge have done a tremendous job. They've been in the forefront of this pandemic. They've realized the danger, and they immediately acted, unlike some of the local municipalities, and even throw in the governor in that case. The Supreme Court was on the forefront here to try to keep people away, and they shut down, for the most part, any kind of physical contact with a judge, any kind of meeting in the courthouse and whatnot. So anything that goes on now is being done through Zoom, or being thrown through other electronic methods such as depositions and other kind of hearings with the court.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense doing that. The sooner we can flatten this curve is what we keep hearing. The sooner we can do that, the sooner we can get back to normal business operations as it was. And real estate was deemed essential, of course, with the need for housing, to have a home. It's an essential need, Frank. And I see a lot of people struggling right now. They're not understanding some of these measures that were released as far as the payroll protection. And then, what if I'm W-2 but not self-employed? What have you seen on your side in terms of that?
Well, I can tell you, I've spoken to a number of banks, and they are completely inundated in trying to process everyone's application. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, a lot of banks are not on the same page. They have different criteria on what they want and what the law actually requires, and if they go beyond what the law actually requires. I've seen that also. Number three, the advice I've been given is if you have a relationship with more than one bank, I have been told to apply through all banks, because some banks are slower than others in getting responses out and trying to get you relief. And so they're saying, look, as soon as you get one, you can always drop the other three applications or the other two applications you may have. So I can tell you, one, just like anything else, banks are processing this not in the same tone, not with the same efficiency. Obviously, there was I don't know if there was but there's very little efficiency in processing thing on the federal side. So I personally have been told that there's been applications submitted on behalf of people. I don't know anyone that's actually received any funds. The process, I don't know, was actually thought out well and how to actually deliver on what they promised.
Right.
From what I've been told and what I've read and what I've seen on the media, the IRS and part of the people responsible for the distribution, they're short in employees in trying to process this. So the efficiency in which this has gone out is, I think, below average. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I think we could have been doing a better job.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Frank Charles Miranda here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. FCMlaw.com is the website, FCMlaw.com. If anyone has any questions for the attorney, I'm sure he welcomes those, FCMlaw.com. Frank, we got about a minute left. Parting words of wisdom or anything else you'd like to add?
Well, if you're looking for a property and you're under contract, whatever the case may be, now's not the time to make a major purchase if you're about ready to buy a house, okay? Because the banks want to make sure you're solid, so you want to keep as solid as you can be before that closing date. Afterward, you're free to go buy that major purchase. Banks, I think, right now are kind of at a loss, so do everything you can to make yourself look good. I think property values are going to maintain here. This is an area people are moving to. I think we're the second largest city in the country when it comes to growth.
Yep.
That's not going to change. And so I think if you're in the process of buying something and you have solid employment, go ahead and go forward with it. If you have any questions, feel free to call us at 813-254-2637, or you can shoot me an email at frank@fcmlaw.com, and happy to communicate and give any advice I can give.
Excellent. Good stuff. Hey, thanks so much. We appreciate you, and keep up the good work out there, Frank.
Hey, I appreciate you. And do you want me to stay on the line for later, or how are you going to do this?
Yeah, we'll check right back with you here. We're going to take it to break. So, hey, stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up, we got attorney Jason Kobal here on the show, Kobal Law, and we have a feel-good story of the day coming at you right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com and follow us online at Brandon Brimes1 on Instagram and Twitter, and Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook. We'll be right back.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it's Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
The 62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember anymore. Ask me about
Yeah. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. I've got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties. My wife, Lindsay, and I own and operate a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay with Keller Williams Realty, and we are buying properties cash. We've got investors that will buy properties cash. We're buying, selling, and investing, helping you in your real estate business. We would love to talk to you. Got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about here in Tampa Bay. I've got an office available at 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa. If you are a business owner and you're paying lease, you're paying rent, this is a great time to get into your own building. This is a freestanding building, office building right in town and country, and it's fenced in. You've got a high security system with cameras, kitchen area, and a beautiful conference room, lots of office space as well. 8325 West Hillsborough Avenue has signage out by the road where you've got 40 to 50,000 cars a day going by in a normal economy as well. So also want to let you know about a property that we have. It's a car wash available at 1410 North Betty Lane in Clearwater. This is a property that is a cash cow. It's 3 bays, and the owner says he puts about 2 hours of work in a week, and he's got cash coming in, $300 to $500 a week cash coming in. Beautiful opportunity, great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving. Whether you're planning a local or long-distance move, reach out to our friends at Brothers Easy Moving. Gary Thacker is the owner, and let him know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we've got attorney Jason Kobal on the line calling into the show. Hey, Jason, how you doing today?
Great, Brandon. How are you?
I am well, thank you very much. And yes, I love when you come on the show, you give us an update, kind of that consumer debt, consumer attorney, different areas that you're working with workers' comp. And I wanted to get an update from you on your state Supreme Court case. You had a case that was going to the state. Have you heard any verdicts back on that, or is it kind of still in limbo?
No, it's going to take a long time. Right now, since we prevailed at the lower level, the other side is drafting their brief. And then after we get that, then we'll be able to draft our own. And there's going to be what's called the amicus curiae briefs from, for example, Florida Workers Advocates is a group of attorneys throughout the state who represent injured workers. They're going to write a brief. It's basically an amicus curiae brief is a brief that if there's an interested group that's not a party, they could basically put their 2 cents in. As far as on an important issue like this one, which was deemed a matter of public importance. But so the whole thing will probably take at least a year to a year and a half.
Wow, yeah, as it normally does when it comes to litigation and lawsuits. I was in a car accident and it's dragging out, man. It's taken, I think I was like. They said, yeah, you get your court case is going to be heard or seen in August, I think, and that was a couple months ago. I'm like, talking about August at the end of this year. So yep. I know how that goes. So what else are you seeing out there? You work a lot with consumers. You're helping them with different types of scenarios that play out. Consumer debt is another area that you focus in. What are you seeing?
Yep. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot going on right now with this coronavirus. It's like every day there's a new law popping up, and I'm trying to keep up with all of them, but I could definitely help the listeners out with a couple that apply here in Florida. For example, the unemployment law has drastically changed for people that have been laid off or who are no longer employed because of the coronavirus, and there's been a lot that have been affected by it. The unemployment went from $275 a week, and now it's increased by $600. So if you were at the max comp rate, which is one of the lowest in the countries of $275 a week, you now get $875 a week. And unemployment used to be for only 12 weeks. now they added 13 weeks to every state. So it's 25 weeks in Florida, and you could get a max of $875 a week. So they definitely increased it quite a bit because of the virus, and that's great. But they need to change the original law once this passes, because $275 a week is kind of tough to live on.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. Now, was that part of the new stimulus package, the $2 trillion that came out?
Yes, it was. That was. And then there's actually talk now of them changing the $275 minimum down the road. But yeah, that $600 increase per state, that was from the stimulus package. And that's great news because, like I said, that's a big difference. $275 a week versus $875 a week. That's night and day.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about these astronomical numbers. $2 trillion. I think it was $2.2 trillion that is being spent. And I listened to other, right the hour before our show at 3:00, Phil Grande with Phil's gang. He really just kind of lays into the politicians and just says, hey, we're spending all this money, we're printing more money, quantitative easing. Now the money in our purse or pocketbook or wallet is now worth less money than it was the day before.
Oh, they opened up a can of worms too. And not only that, they also changed it. So if you're an independent contractor, or say maybe you're an Uber driver, or, you're doing one of those jobs, in the past, you used to not be able to get unemployment. Now they made an exception. Those people could now get unemployment too.
Wow.
So they have opened the floodgates, and it's so bad. They just created a new website because the original website that they were using for their applications was completely overwhelmed. But they just brought out, I think it was actually last night, they just launched a new one that's user friendly, and it's tough. So, but I could say this: I used to be an unemployment judge. If you are having a hard time getting your application going, as long as you got it, whether you send it in by mail or you got it going on the computer, as long as you can prove that you applied at a certain date, if it's backed up and you're not getting anywhere, you'll be able to get benefits for that time period, as long as you can prove that you were aggressively trying. Because right now the system's struggling.
Right. Yeah. And that's Diane Vance was mentioning that too, in terms of calling your mortgage servicer, asking them if they're giving some months off of payments. So yeah, it's a challenging time. People the challenge is to buy into the fear and to limit that scarcity mentality. But as Frank was saying in last segment too, is that this is still, in terms of a real estate area, real estate's going to still be booming. People are moving here every day. More and more people are probably going to be moving from New York and Boston, the bigger cities, into Florida. Yeah, so if you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal. Kobal Law is his company, and he is a longtime friend of the program here, and talking about consumer debt, consumer laws, and he's really a consumer advocate as well when it comes to his business with Kobal Law. So what else are you seeing out there? I know you do some personal injury stuff too, Jason. Are you seeing things in that space right now?
Well, the one thing that it's I guess some kind of silver lining. It's tough to find one right now, but with all these restrictions, car accidents have gone down tremendously. There's a lot less vehicles on the road, so business has been a little bit slower. There's a lot less car accidents, and that's good too, especially with the hospitals with the limited amount of capacity, space, and the limited amount of supplies. It's good that they're not getting flooded with as many car accidents. But and not to get off on a tangent, but on those lines, I was reading an article this morning about there's about 30 states in the country that if you're a disabled person and your state is getting flooded, the hospital has limited ventilators. 30 out of the 50 states have laws that basically put disabled people at the back of the line as far as who gets a ventilator if there's only a limited number and there's not enough. And that's a tough decision, obviously, to make, but I don't think the solution should ever be to put disabled people at the back of the line. So they need to fix that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's frustrating. Hopefully the companies, I know they had implemented the Wartime Act. I forgot the exact name of it, to create more ventilators.
Yep.
Some of the car dealers were put in that position.
That's right. I believe GM is making a bunch, and from what President Trump, for a while, he didn't even have to use it. I guess he was just to have that available and to threaten to be able to use it. The companies were complying, but I believe he actually did use it for a couple of them. But it looks like they're keeping up with them. But you never know with the virus, when a particular area is going to get flooded, and hopefully that situation doesn't happen. But it's a tough thing to deal with, but putting disabled folks at the back of the line is not the solution. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. We were talking with Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's a local attorney. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Is that still the best website for you, Jay?
Yes, it is.
TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Good. Okay, got it. And so, what else are you seeing out there when you look at these times? I think people need to see that there is opportunity as well. So there's of course we're going through a little bit of a winter, but there's going to be some opportunities that arise as well, Jason.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's ironic. Just for myself, my fair debt practice started from injured workers getting billed. It should never happen. I've told you that story a number of times. And, injured workers gets billed. It's a violation of their rights as a consumer. So I go after them under the fair debt laws. Well, Congress, or the president actually just did an executive order and it said anybody who's treating for the virus, even if they're not insured, the hospital cannot bill them. So if anybody in Florida gets a bill and you had the virus and you went for treatment and you get billed for it, even if you're not insured, give me a call because you're not supposed to get billed. So that's actually going to be a new area of law for me. And it's going to expand my practice because I'm sure that's going to be violated, unfortunately. Right. But that just goes to show that there's always a way. There's always a silver lining, and different doors may close, but then others will open.
That's right. Yeah, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out his website, TampaWorkCompLaw.com, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. More from Jason coming up in our next segment, our lightning round, as well as attorney Frank Charles Miranda is going to join us as well, FrankCharlesMirandaLaw.com as well, FCMLaw.com. And we want you to think about this show as your consumer advocate. Again, the hub of your financial, your business wheel, your real estate, your law, all of those spokes extending out, representing another one of our expert contributors. Reach out for anything that you'd like an introduction to. 813-670-7372 is our consumer advocate hotline. You can call or text that line. It's an off-air number, and we're going to put you in touch with the best expert contributors here from the show and professionals here locally in the Tampa Bay area. 813-670-7372. And of course, our website is consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form there as well. So stay with us. We'll be right back for our fourth quarter, and do not go anywhere. We'll be right back here at Consumer Quarterback Show. And we're back. Brandon Brimes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Shout out to WholeBodyFuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show, WholeBodyFuel.com. Check them out online, and Chef Brian Adamo and his team do a great job. Kevin and the whole team over there are awesome to work with. Convenient, healthy meals delivered directly to your home or office. Great time to sign up for WholeBodyFuel.com. They've also got the world-famous protein donuts, WholeBodyFuel.com. Longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and I love it. Every week I get my delivery of new meals, convenient, and I carry them with me in my daily travels. WholeBodyFuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we have Frank Charles Miranda Law, attorney Frank Charles Miranda on the show, as well as attorney Jason Kobal on the show here as well with us. And one of the things that I'm seeing as well, just from a general standpoint, from a business, we're all business owners here on the show. When you think about marketing, I was listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, and it's a great time to be online marketing, digital marketing. Online cost for digital marketing ads are down 43%. So I think it's a great time, and they were talking about it's a great time to build your audience, but not necessarily, go for the revenue, go for the, launch a new product or something along those lines. But it's a great time to build an audience. When it comes to the online marketing, what are you guys seeing? Let's go, Frank Miranda. Are you guys doing more marketing now online, less marketing, kind of just hanging tight? What are you seeing on that end?
Well, we've addressed that issue, and we've recognized the fact that this is an opportunity to have a greater online presence simply because more people are at home, more people have the opportunity to see it. Unlike, traditionally where people at the office or they're running around through the daily routine, now they're more than ever in front of a computer screen.
Right.
And so, yeah, we've definitely had that conversation. We've definitely explored it. I think I actually have scheduled calls with people to implement some of those same concepts and procedures. But, I find myself online more than I ever have before, even at the house.
Yeah.
There's so much TV you have, and then you go to Facebook and you're inundated with those ads. And quite honestly, I think they work. I've caught myself clicking on a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. And you look at where we're spending our time, more and more Facebook Lives popping up. I'm setting up multiple Facebook Lives with different folks, and I would extend that offer, to you guys. If you guys want to do a Facebook Live with us, we can, talk online, and it's just one more place that people are going to see you, going to find you. So, Jason, same question to you, attorney Jason Kobal on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Talking about marketing in general and digital ads. The ad costs are down right now because so many businesses are pooling their ad budgets. They're falling prey to that scarcity mentality. But right now is a great time to be growing your audience per se.
Oh, absolutely. With these restrictions and, it's like I said the last time I was on, it's so impressive how many Americans have actually cooperated and, everybody's staying at home. That's great. And, we're doing a number on this virus. And it looks like it's finally taking a turn for the better. But with everybody at home, definitely more people using their cell phones, more people on the computer screens. Personally, for us, we have found that social media seems to be really doing well of late, even more so than our website. But it seems like social. I don't have any statistical data to back it up, but it seems like social media is definitely increased as far as response and visibility goes since the restrictions have taken hold.
Yeah, more and more people are at home. They're like Frank was saying, they're tuned into their phones. They're taking a break from the Netflix movie or the different. Speaking of that was an interesting show I was watching last night. I got pulled into that whole the one about the tiger guy, the Tiger King.
Oh yeah, Joe Exotic. Yep.
What an interesting story. It just kept going on with twists and turns. I'm not even into the third or fourth episode, but I was like, wow. And then he got sued for the trademark, and man, it was an interesting story. Have you guys seen that?
I did, believe it or not. My wife, she showed it to me, and that's it. I got sucked in. I ended up watching it all with her. So.
But it was interesting stories to be
very interesting
lesson to be learned there. Just it was such an interesting story. And then I heard one of the questions. I was watching President Trump had a press release, and one of the reporters asked a question that the guy's, I guess, locked up at this point now, the Tiger King, that is, Joe Exotic, and he said something about asking for a pardon. and then Trump turned it on him and said, well, what do you think? Do you think I should give him a pardon? It was pretty funny. It was kind of comical there. But Frank, did you say you've seen that or no?
Yeah, the Tiger King is the new version of like the B movie that everyone sees, and so it's kind of like my opinion of it is you can't stop watching it, but it's for some reason you feel like you shouldn't be. It kind of reminds you of so much dysfunctionality out there, and hopefully everyone's life is quite not as dysfunctional as those people's. But I've seen it, and it is entertaining.
Yeah, it was like, wow, people really live their life this way, and I guess it kind of hit home too because I've gone to the Big Cat Rescue here in Tampa Bay, and it's not to get into the dynamics of that story, but it was he's doing a certain business, they're doing a similar business, and I didn't really see how either of them could kind of blame the other. But anyways, let's go back to consumer advocacy here. So if you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Frank Charles Miranda here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We also have attorney Jason Kobal with Kobal Law here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I want to throw a question back to Jason. Jason, what other laws have you seen changing? Because as you said, it's a fluid time. I mean, more and more people are getting hit with unemployment. Unemployment's up. I actually just got a message as well about DeSantis signs bill into law that makes it harder to put citizen initiatives on the ballot. What does that mean?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I did forget to mention this one law that did change. That's right up my alley for workers' compensation, and this just happened the other day. Before this recent change, if you were to try to prove up what's called an exposure case, like say, for example, your job, exposes you to mold and you have an injury from being around it, those are very difficult. And there's a lot of science involved. You have to prove the quantitative amounts. You have to prove that your job is one that puts you at more of a danger than a regular job would to be exposed to this type of material or whatever it was that injured you. So those were essentially very difficult cases. They just made it easier for first responders, for the doctors, the nurses, basically everybody who's on the front lines, the EMS workers trying to help people. However, it's not helping everybody who are on the front lines, in my opinion. For example, say the UPS workers or the Amazon workers or whoever's doing the deliveries or any private sector employees are not included in this. So hopefully that's just the first step, and hopefully they make it a little easier on other workers who are exposed to the virus more so than the average person, because it is a very tough case to prove without that new law. So that is one law that's changed recently due to the virus.
Seems like a good law to protect our first responders.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I believe I told you it was just maybe about 6 months before this when we just added first responders could have psych claims, where in the past you needed a corresponding physical injury. And if you're not a first responder in Florida, you cannot have just a psych workers' comp case. You have to have a physical injury that corresponds to it. But except for the first responders, for example, if there's a school bombing or, they can definitely get PTSD without actually sustaining a physical injury. So that was good. And they did something similar for the first responders here with the virus. So, yeah, that's definitely a good law. I agree.
Good stuff. And then same question to you, Frank. What are you seeing anything else on your end or anything that you're
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
I have. And the good thing is, I mean, the Florida Supreme Court really jumped on this quickly. So in order to facilitate transactions like real estate transactions and even wills, the Florida Supreme Court has modified the rules when it comes to notaries. So now if a notary can see you via Zoom or via FaceTime, they see you sign a document, they can lawfully notarize it in the state of Florida. So that has greatly helped with the social distancing. It helps people stay at home. We can now send documents to them. They can sign it in front of a video screen, and a notary can lawfully notarize that document. So, yeah, I have seen it. That's an effective tool. It's been used already by this office, and I can tell you that it's really informed and really complies with the meaning of and the integrity of what we're trying to do with the social distancing aspect, so people can sign documents from the comfort of their home.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And with the real estate closings, a lot of times we have people that are either, in Europe on vacation or they moved to Europe and they still have to sell a property here in Florida. Those types of challenges you see happen. So it's a common sense move. It makes a lot of sense to me. And notary to be able to sign via Zoom or to see you via Zoom, that makes a lot of sense. So I like that one. Jason, go back to Attorney Jason Kobal. We got about 30 seconds for you here. Parting words or call to action?
Also, those of you that are paying back student loans like myself, if you're doing automatic withdrawals, it should be frozen right now. So there is some relief. And if your payments are coming out, definitely give me a call and I can help you out. You shouldn't be paying student loans right now unless you want to.
Yeah, there you go. TampaWorkCompLaw.com is how you can get in touch with Jason Kobal, Attorney Jason Kobal, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. And Frank, back to you. Got about 30 seconds for you. Parting words of advice.
The parting words now, if you're looking for real estate in Tampa, nothing has changed. Effectively, they're holding price. This is not the same circumstance as 2007. At least it isn't right now. And so people are still transacting real estate transactions, are still closing, and there's a lot of cash on the sidelines. So I don't expect a huge dip. So if you want a piece of property and that's the one you want, I don't think you're going to get a sweetheart deal on it. Not yet, anyway.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, things are still happening. Volume's down a little bit, but deals are still getting done. Real estate is an essential. So I want to thank Brittany Rudolph, Frank Charles Miranda, Attorney Jason Kobal for appearing on the show today. We really appreciate you guys. And also our listeners, our viewers out there, our producers of the show. I appreciate everybody who's involved here. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another now more than ever. Great time to volunteer, donate some blood, donate some time, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.